missing what time it really is. We are late in the business cycle. Interest rates are flying higher, and overvalued stocks and bonds are going to come down. It's time for a new strategy. Gold. My name is Adam Barada. I'm the founder of Gold is a Better Way.
Yes, I definitely have to clean the office.
Going higher in price. I'm going to outperform stocks and bonds. I've created the world's first.
But thank you for joining.
Platform ever built. If you have an IRA or 401k, I want to give you free access. Once you see this, you'll have no choice but to agree. And all you need to do is call for your special code. Call 800-900.
What's this, mail?
That's 800.
I'm sorry, it looks nasty.
On a recorded line, you'll get a special code. You can join the site for free. No sales.
I'm going to get some water before the radio show actually starts.
900-8000. Get your code. Get it now. Gold is a better way. Gold is a better way. Gold is a better way.
How y'all doing? Happy Sunday.
This traffic report brought to you by Banner Mattress. Quality mattresses at the guaranteed lowest price. Visit bannermattressonline.com. That's bannermattressonline.com.
Dennis Prager says enough is enough. There was no collusion. The thing was a witch hunt. It's a disgrace to the United States that Mueller was ever, or anybody would have ever been assigned to investigate something that didn't happen. It is part of the quote-unquote resistance to do anything possible, whether moral or immoral, whether legal or illegal, to get rid of this president.
The Dennis Prager Show, weekdays at noon. And take Dennis everywhere with the AM 590 The Answer app. News and talk you can trust. No fake news. AM 590 The Answer. Dennis Prager sees a threat to democracy, and it's not the
Hello.
There is so much
My name is
damage
John.
to the American
Welcome to
body
BioMetaRx Radio,
by the
or live,
anti-Trump left in this country.
Whatever.
They keep screaming he is a threat to democracy. That's
So,
all nonsense. Shift one to a thing that makes
we're gonna do
the threat to democracy in the United States. Like
this
everywhere
was-
else, the left.
The Dennis
This is a
Prager
cat.
Show, weekdays at
That's
noon.
right.
And take Dennis everywhere with
Yeah.
the AM 590
When
The
I was
Answer.
in my room, I was watching Adult Swim, and then I was watching Family Guy, and this at the part where he was dancing, and then he was falling on the ground, and he
This
is.
recorded program is sponsored by Biomed
Listen.
RX Incorporated.
Uh-oh. Now the show is on.
Oh,
Hi, Acosta. Hi, everybody.
hi, Acosta.
So how do you get in shape like this? Biomed RX supplements.
Yes.
This is Biomed RX Radio.
Okay.
I'm your host, Devin Lockett.
Let me try this a little
Biomed
louder
RX
for you
Center.
guys.
Biomed RX Radio is a high-tech holistic health program that
I had to carry this show myself this week. I didn't have a guest with me, and I didn't have my normal co-host, my daughter Katie. But I think I pulled it off. I don't know. You let me know. Hopefully, I'll take whatever. Hey, Joe. I'll take whatever critique and criticism you might have. But this is all me on this show.
This was on April 23rd. Magnetic fields and electric cars don't seem to cause pacemaker problems. I think this is a very important issue because we're depending more and more on electronics and electricity and electronic technology. And my career of over 30 years as a biomedical equipment maintenance technician and a clinical engineer, I've come across many instances where we've had to do electrical safety inspections on medical equipment, especially medical equipment that emits any type of signal or radiation. Telemetry machines, remote control, wheelchairs even. I mean, you'd really be surprised how our lives are becoming much more complicated through the EMF and the stray electricity that happens here. But this is good news coming from Reuters. All electric motors can produce electromagnetic fields. If these fields are strong enough, they have the potential to disrupt the normal function of implanted heart devices. Researchers note in the Annals of Internal Medicine, pacemaker malfunction might cause the heart to stop beating with potentially fatal results, while defibrillators might respond to electromagnetic fields by delivering unnecessary shocks to patients' hearts, causing pain and anxiety. For the study, researchers measured the magnetic field strength in 4 electric cars, with the largest market share in Europe: the BMW i3, Nissan Leaf, Tesla Model 85
My sister is at my
and
mom's
Volkswagen
house.
No, she's at church with
They
your
also
mom.
assessed how well the pacemakers and defibrillators work for 108 patients with these implanted cardiac devices
Well, maybe
who
they're
sat in
home from
cars
church,
doing
right?
simulated driving and charging tests. None of the cars appeared to interfere with the patient's heart devices, the study found. That's good news. Our studies suggest that the electromagnetic fields generated by electric cars do not cause malfunctions, said the lead study author, Dr. Gen Karsten Lennertz of the German Heart Center, Munich, and the German Center for Cardiovascular Research. While the results are promising, the designs of electric cars, as well as pacemakers and defibrillators, are constantly changing. And it's possible what happened for the specific cars and heart devices in the study might not reflect that what every patient would experience, Leonard's cautioned. Patients with pacemakers and defibrillators should see the results as encouraging for their safety in electric cars, but should be very wary that rare events may still occur. It is possible that devices didn't malfunction in the study because the car batteries, electric motors, and other components have electromagnetic shielding, Leonard said by email. It is also possible that the pacemakers and defibrillators have technology to help prevent the devices from responding to any signals from the cars. For the study, researchers asked patients with pacemakers and defibrillators to sit in one of 4 different electric cars and to charge the car's battery using charging cables. Researchers measured the magnetic field inside and next to the cars as they were operated and next to the charging cables during charging. Researchers also mentioned patients' pacemakers and defibrillators for any indication, patients' pacemakers and defibrillators for any indication of interference during the experiment. The study, however, might not have been large enough to detect rare problems or accurately reflect what might happen across a broad population of people with heart problems who rely on pacemakers and defibrillators, the authors note. It seems to be reassuring, but when we consider the millions of electric cars that will be sold, it is reasonable to think that larger numbers of cardiac implanted electric devices patients should be studied, said Dr. Richard Sutton of Imperial College, London, in the UK. If patients could not be near or travel in an electric car, this could be disastrous for patients, but more so for the direction of the auto industry and for the potential benefits of reversing global warming. Sutton, who wasn't involved in the study, said by email, Sutton has received a grant, consulting and speaking fees from several major medical device companies. Another drawback is that the battery power of electric cars might increase in the future, making them more dangerous to the heart patients, said Dejanuja Lakiredi of University of Kansas Hospital in Kansas City. Over the last few decades, we have learned that very simple household items like electric razors, blow dryers, microwaves, induction ovens, etc., have shown to interfere with cardiac implanted electrical device function. Lakiredi, who wasn't involved in the study, said this by email. Patients should feel very confident that the current generation of electric cars should not have any significant impact on the device function. Like he added, however, what is to happen when the battery that is packed inside these cars significantly increases with time is yet to be well understood. And I imagine that's going to also reflect what happens as we make greater demands on power. We're going to have stronger electric motors in the cars as well. This is something that, as a biomedical engineer, I'm very cognizant that we have to stay up on. We have to remain very, very aware of the dangers to those who are wearing implanted medical devices. My father had an implantable defibrillator pacemaker before he passed away. And we had to be very careful with body fat analyzers on the scales where, they send a current from the left hand to the right hand because that crosses the myocardium. Also on the gym equipment, the hand grips that when you're on an elliptical machine or on the treadmill, where you can grip onto it and get a reading of your heart rate. That's also sending a current through the body. You have to be very careful with these things. Now, this brings us to biomagnetism. Biomagnetic pair therapy is one of the services that we offer in the Biomed RX Health Center. It is a technique that uses pairs of magnets to correct pH imbalances in the body, which helps the body to heal and detoxify. It's been found to be an effective support treatment for correcting pH imbalances caused by all pathogens, viruses, bacteria, fungus, parasites, toxins, and other harmful factors. You can explore the benefits of biomagnetic pair therapy at the Biomed RX Health Center, which is located at 916 North Mountain Avenue, Suite D1, Upland, California, 91786. Everyone tells me I need to repeat this because I didn't have a chance to write it down. The Biomed RX Health Center is located again at 916 North Mountain Avenue, Suite D1 in Upland, California, 91786. You can call us at 909-608-2880. That's 909-608-2880. Or you can visit us online at www.biomedrxhealthcenter.com. I want to take an opportunity to discuss the new members of our line of supplements available online at www.biomedrxsupplements.com. We're going to go over that again. That's www.biomedrxsupplements.com. We have our new Optimum Formula Brain Boost, which is a nootropic, I guess you'd call it, or a brain food, a brain optimizer. It supports mental focus and promotes clarity. It's very good for memory, to assist in your memory function. We have Optimum Formula Male Enhancement. This promotes male sexual health, supports endurance and stamina, and it's a testosterone booster. Optimum Formula Omega 8060. It has a natural lemon flavor. It's also a brain food. It's been tested for heavy metals, and it's been put through a very comprehensive distillation process. I don't know if you're familiar with optimal formulas or with omegas. Omegas are the fatty acids that feed the brain. They're also considered in the nootropics category. We've also got Optimum Formula Probiotic 1150. Probiotics are the bacteria that help you digest your food and assist in digestion.
Keep getting messages. Yeah.
It's got 15 billion microflora per tablet. It maintains a healthy digestive balance, replenishes healthy bacteria, and promotes the health of your immune system. And we've got Optimum Formula Extreme Testosterone. And this is different from male enhancement, but it is also a male potency tonic. It supports increases in muscle mass for those of you who like to lift weights, like bodybuilding, and it helps to boost stamina and libido. You can find all of these products online, once again, at www.biomedrxsupplements.com. That's www.biomedrxsupplements.com. That's about it for our first segment. We'll be back after these messages with more information in healthcare technology and more information about the Biomed RX Health Center and our products after these messages. Neurofeedback, or EEG biofeedback, is an electronic method of restoring the brain to its natural balance. It is great for improving the cognitive performance and addressing many neurological conditions such as stress, anxiety, and depression.
My name is Susana Mercado. I came here because I've been having a lot of migraines, and I was really upset of the medication not helping, and later on resulted in depression. After the first session, I was like not convinced, but then the following day, I had no headache. I discovered that it was helping me, and after the third session, I was feeling great. Ever since on, I've been not having any kind of migraines.
To learn more about the benefits of neurofeedback therapy and training, visit us online at biomedrxhealthcenter.com or call us at 909-608-2880 for more information.
AM 590. The answer.
AM 590. The answer. AM 590.
We're We're back with more high-tech holistic healthcare solutions with Biomed RX Radio. I am your host, Devin Lockett. Biomed RX Radio is a weekly high-tech holistic healthcare program that airs every Sunday at noon here on AM 590 and AM590theanswer.com. I'm just going over some news stories here related to healthcare and healthcare technology, and also related to the services that we offer at the Biomed RX Health Center and the products offered by Biomed RX. This is from Reuters, from Lisa Rappaport. Caffeine in pregnancy tied to childhood weight gain. Pregnant women who drink lots of coffee and other caffeinated beverages may be more likely to have kids who are overweight than mothers who limit caffeine during pregnancy, a Norwegian study suggests. Researchers examined the data on caffeine intake for about 51,000 mothers and weight gain for their babies during infancy. Compared with women who had less than 50 milligrams of caffeine, less than half a cup or 4 ounces of coffee per day during pregnancy, those who had an average intake of between 50 and 199 milligrams daily from about half a cup.
Hey, Eric, how you doing, brother?
Hi, Eric.
2 8-ounce cups
what's up
of
with you,
coffee
man?
were
Hi,
15%
Christine.
more likely to have a baby
Hi,
with excessive
Christine.
weight.
Hi, Joe. Hi,
At age
Acosta.
1
Hi,
year,
Calvin.
the study found.
Hi, Monica.
Infant weight
Hi,
gain
Christina.
increased as
Desmond,
women's
cuz,
caffeine
what's up?
consumption rose.
Hi,
With
Monica.
a high intake, and this is
Happy
in
Sunday to you,
quotations,
too.
of 200 to 299 milligrams of caffeine a day during pregnancy, babies were 22% more likely to
I had to
have
carry this show on my
excess-
own this
excessive
time,
weight
just
gain,
reading.
with very high
Reading from
intake
Reuters.
of at least 300
News
milligrams
pertaining to
daily.
healthcare and
Babies were
healthcare technology,
45% more likely
things
to
that are
gain
specific to
excessive weight.
Biomed RX.
High maternal caffeine intake during pregnancy was related to excess growth from infancy and obesity later in childhood, said the lead study author Dr. Eleni Papadopoulou of the Norwegian Institute of Public Health.
Thank you, man.
The results support the current recommendation to limit caffeine intake during
My
pregnancy.
son says he
to
likes
less
my
than
radio
200
voice.
milligrams of caffeine per day. This is very interesting because the study also found a risk of excess weight in children whose mothers consume less caffeine. The results to also add to the evidence suggesting that pregnant women might want to consider avoiding coffee and soda altogether. It is important that pregnant women are aware that caffeine does not come from coffee only, but that caffeinated soda drinks, like Coca-Cola and Pepsi and other energy drinks, can contribute with considerable amounts of caffeine. No research can definitively prove that what level of caffeine is safe in pregnancy, because scientists won't ethically test drugs or supplements in women when there's a potential to harm the mother or their babies. Caffeine passes rapidly through the placenta and has been linked to an increased risk of miscarriage and restricted fetal development, previous research has found. Some studies in animals also suggest that exposure to caffeine in the womb might contribute to excessive weight gain by altering the baby's appetite control, or changing areas of the brain play a role in regulating growth and metabolism. In the current study, 46% of the mothers had low caffeine intake during pregnancy and less than 50 milligrams per day, and another 44% had what researchers describe as average intake of 50 to 199 milligrams per day. Just 7% of the women had high intake, 200 to 299 milligrams, and only 3% had very high caffeine intake of more than 300 milligrams daily. Very high caffeine exposure was also associated with more rapid weight gain from infancy through age 8. However, the researchers only had complete.
So we're
height
scouting for different
weight
locations
and
for the
growth factor
office.
through age
So
8
as soon
for
as the show
23% of the children.
goes off,
For
we're going
most
to
of
be
the
taking
kids,
a ride,
researchers
right?
estimated growth
Yeah,
through
we're gonna
age
take a
8
little
based
drive.
on children's development over their first 12 months to life. Still, more than 3/4 of pregnant women report consuming some caffeine, and the study results are an important reminder to keep it under 200 milligrams per day, said Lisa Bodnar, a public health researcher at the University of Pittsburgh who wasn't involved in the study. Caffeine in utero may change how the brain develops, Bodnar said by email. This is important because the brain has a strong influence over appetite. This is absolutely true. I personally, would stay away from coffee and caffeinated drinks during pregnancy if I were pregnant or if I were awaiting the arrival of a child. I would suggest that the mother would avoid that as well as alcohol. We have supplements at biomedrxsupplements.com specifically for this. BioMedRx Optimum Prenatal Formula is a multiple vitamin mineral supplement for pregnant and nursing mothers with enzymes, amino acids, and herbs. One of the highest quality prenatal multiples available, BioMedRx Optimum Prenatal gives emphasis to balance, form, and potency of each nutrient, especially required during the prenatal period. The BioMedRx line of vitamins, detoxifying products, and other supplements are made of only the highest quality, all-natural ingredients. We have supplements to fit every age, gender, and lifestyle, from children to adults to seniors to professional athletes. BioMedRx Supplements has what you need. Visit us online at www.biomedrxsupplements.com. And, even if you're not in the family way, we have a very good product for women in general. BioMedRx Optimum Woman is the only woman's high potency, full spectrum, multiple vitamin supplement to contain 56 nutrients, including those most important for a woman, such as calcium for bone health, iron for healthy red blood cells, beta-carotene, biotin for nail and hair growth, gamma-linoleic acid from evening primrose oil, octasanol, grape seed extract, a potent antioxidant important for maintaining capillary strength, and vegetarian digestive enzymes. The BioMedRx line of supplements can be found online, again, at www.biomedrxsupplements.com. Now, here's an interesting article from Lisa Rappaport at Reuters. Income, education are tied to physical function in old age. This is very interesting. People with lower socioeconomic status may have fewer years of good physical functioning in old age than their more affluent, educated counterparts, a recent study suggests. Researchers examined data on socioeconomic status, chronic medical problems.
It's hilarious, isn't it?
A proxy for
I know, you're having
functioning for 109,000 adults ages
Can I go to my
45
office?
to 90.
Sure, you want to
from
go to your
24
office?
countries
Yeah,
in Europe, the United States,
okay.
Latin America, Africa, and Asia. Socioeconomic status includes income, education, and occupation, and offers a snapshot of how
No, we have
class
to go to
shapes
Orange County.
opportunity within a given society.
Yeah,
At
I'm
age
actually
60,
thinking about
men
moving
of low
the
socioeconomic status have the
BioMedRx Health
same
Center.
walking speed
I'm
as
considering a couple of
67-year-old men with
locations in
high
Orange County.
socioeconomic status,
So
meaning the
we're
poorer
gonna take
and
a
less
drive
educated people had
and
almost
go.
7 fewer years of good physical
We're going to take a
function,
drive
the
down to
study
Orange
found.
County after the radio show.
Women at age 60, meanwhile, lost more than 5 years of good physical functioning when they had a low socioeconomic status compared to their more affluent counterparts. The impact of poor socioeconomic conditions on functioning is comparable to that of major risk factors such as smoking and physical inactivity, said the lead study author Sylvia Strelini.
Listen to that.
Of the,
Being
of the Institute
broke, being
of Social
poor
and Preventive
is
Maintenance
as
at
bad,
Lausanne
is as
University
detrimental to
Hospital
your health
and
as if
Lausanne
you had
University in Switzerland.
habit smoking or drinking.
Plenty
or
of
anything like
previous research has linked poverty, a lack of education, and limited job prospects to an increased risk of chronic disease and premature death, researchers note in the BMJ. Along the way, many people experience a decline in physical functioning, which is thought to be caused by the combination of limited resources and complex medical problems. I'm sure diet plays a role in there somewhere. Choice as well as quality of food. The current study builds on this thesis by showing that in addition to chronic health problems that may hasten physical decline, socioeconomic status is an independent risk factor for worsening function. This means some poor people who are otherwise healthy may still have an increased risk of losing physical function. Men and women of low socioeconomic status, for example,
What's up, Terry? How you doing, bro?
Lost more than 5 years of physical functioning to a lack of exercise, the study found. They also lost 5 to 7 years of good functioning due to obesity and about 6 years from diabetes. The study was a controlled experiment designed to prove whether or not how socioeconomic status might directly impact health or physical functioning. They didn't commit this to the scientific method. Even so, the results suggest that doctors and policymakers should focus on socioeconomic status as a risk factor for premature aging, the authors conclude. Efforts to promote disability-free aging will take on heightened importance as the global population ages, particularly because improvements in healthy aging haven't kept pace with gains in life expectancy, said Dr. Rachel Cooper, author of an accompanying editorial and researcher at the University College London in the UK. Socioeconomic adversity is, alongside other risk factors, an important target in global efforts to extend disability-free life expectancy. This is something that's very important. We have to take care of ourselves throughout our lives. And sometimes we can enjoy the lives of the other half, the lives of the rich, if we just take time out to take care of ourselves, pay attention to our stress, watch our diet, take time to prepare healthy food, get exercise every opportunity you can, and protect your rest.
Get exercise.
Maintain healthy
What's up, Howard? How you
relationships.
going? How you doing, man?
We'll be back with more high-tech, holistic health news and solutions from the Biomed RX Health Center here on Biomed RX Radio.
I think this one's already on YouTube.
Neurofeedback, or EEG biofeedback, is an electronic method of restoring the brain to its natural balance. It is great for improving the cognitive performance and addressing many neurological conditions.
My name is Susana Mercado. After the first session, I was not convinced, but then the following day, I had no headache. I discovered that it was helping me.
And this is a great commercial, thanks to my engineer, Miguel Hernandez. Good job, Miguel, man.
AM 590. The answer.
We're back with more high-tech holistic healthcare solutions on Biomed RX Radio. I'm your host, Devin Lockett. Biomed RX Radio is a high-tech holistic health radio program that airs every Sunday at noon here on AM 590 and AM590theanswer.com on the internet. I just wanted to give you guys, we were going over some information in the last two segments. The news, basically, news articles from Reuters that have to do with healthcare and healthcare technology. Before we get into a couple of stories, I want to give you some information about a service that we provide, which is going to be very relevant over the next two stories that you're about to hear. CES. It's also called cranial electrotherapy stimulation. It uses a low-level electrical current to safely and effectively treat anxiety, depression, insomnia, and post-traumatic stress disorder, or PTSD. We also can treat traumatic brain injury, or CTI, very effectively after a traumatic brain injury with CES. By attaching ear clips to your ears, small electrical pulses help your brain produce beneficial neurotransmitters. CES safely promotes brain health by gently helping your body produce serotonin, norepinephrine, and endorphins, which all increase relaxation and well-being. Backed by over 200 studies, this clinically proven innovative technology is used worldwide.
Hi, cousin Bonnie. How you doing, babe?
Pharmaceutical approach to improving relaxation,
good to see you.
Mental health, sleep, and cognitive ability, as well as reducing aches,
From the whole
discomforts, and cravings. You can explore the benefits of CES at the Biomed RX Health Center. We're located at 916 North Mountain Avenue, Suite D1. Upland, California, 91786. You can call us at 909-608-2880. I'm going to repeat that for you. It's 909-608-2880. 2880, or you can visit us online at www.biomedrxhealthcenter.com. On our website, we have testimonial videos from several of our clients. So I'm going to repeat the website URL, the address for you. It's www.biomedrxhealthcenter.com. Now, here's an article from Shireen Lehman from Reuters Health News, April 27, 2018. Soccer headers is when a soccer player butts the ball with his head, may do more brain harm than most collisions. Reuters Health. For soccer players, regularly heading the ball may have a bigger effect on everyday cognitive function than an occasional accident. A U.S. study suggests. Wow. Researchers examined more than 300 adult amateur soccer players in New York City and found the ones who headed the ball most often during practice and games had poorer performance on tests of psychomotor speed, attention, and memory. Accidental head knocks were not related to cognitive test performance, the team reports in Frontiers of Neurology. The focus in terms of head injury in sports has really been on concussions and recognized symptomatic impacts to the head, typically due to players colliding with each other or falling down, said lead author Dr. Michael Lipton of the Albert Einstein College of Medicine of New York City. And it's probably misguided to be so tunnel vision focused on concussion as the problem, Lipton said in a telephone interview. Researchers recruited 308 players ranging in age from 8 to 15 who had played for the last 5 years and were actively playing 6 or more months each year. Participants filled out questionnaires detailing the previous 2 weeks of soccer activity, including how many times they headed the ball and if they had any unintentional head impacts. They also completed tests of verbal learning, verbal memory, psychomotor speed, attention, and working memory. The players, 80% of whom were men, completed the surveys and took the test one or more times at 3 to 6 month intervals over the next 2 years. Overall, players.
This is just me carrying the show on my own.
45 times.
I'm going to see if I can get my water back
by
from
each
my
questionnaire. But half of the men headed the ball at least 50 times, and half of the women did so 26 or more times. During the same period, about 1/3 of the players suffered at least one unintentional head impact, such as a hit to the head by another player or being knocked to the ground or onto a goalpost. Ouch. Players who reported the most headings had the poorest performance on functional tasks known to be affected by brain injury, the authors note. The effect on memory was borderline, however, they add. Falls, collisions, and concussions over a lifetime were accounted for, Lipton pointed out. We found that in the subset of players, there is an adverse effect on cognitive function, which is explained only by heading, and that concussions and collisions do not in any way explain the effect on cognitive function, he said. The problem seems to be these minor impacts that are repeated much more frequently, Lipton said. I think that's really the key message, that impacts to the head matter even when at the individual impact level, they may not seem to be causing an immediate problem. The changes in cognitive function did not cause any obvious impairment, but the study team is concerned about potential long-term damage. What are we thinking? What we're really looking at here is something that is subclinical effect, an open question which remains to be answered by more research, is how much of this does it take to cause a permanent effect? And that is not known yet, Lipton said. Anthony Contos, researcher, director for the UPMC Sports Medicine Concussion Program at the University of Pittsburgh, who wasn't involved in the study, noted that while the study involved a lot of players, it is possible participants may have overstated the number of times they headed the ball. As a researcher who has published in the area,
I highly recommend
in this arena,
taking colloidal
and a
silver.
long-time soccer player who has played in college and continues to play as an adult,
Colloidal
I know firsthand
silver.
that most players are not accurately.
Colloidal only means that it's been suspended in water.
Overestimated their exposure to heading and lifetime head injuries, Kanto said in an email. Lipton said more research is needed. The only way to really understand this is to follow people over a much longer time frame because the effects were small. But the question is, how do they build up over time? You know, this is a very, very important topic, not only for people who play soccer, but also with American football. Traumatic brain injury is something that happens frequently, especially with certain members of the team that play certain positions, linemen, people who have more chance of high impact. We can treat a smaller bottle traumatic brain injury at the Biomed RX Health Center. We do a combination of neurofeedback, which is EEG biofeedback, to kind of help the brain return to its natural balance. And we combine that with cranial electrotherapy stimulation, which helps the brain to rebalance serotonin and norepinephrine and all of the endorphins that help promote brain function. Now, here's another article I'd like to, while we're on the same subject. Anxiety in middle age is linked to dementia later. Reuters, this is Lisa Rappaport, Reuters Health. People who with moderate to severe anxiety in middle age may be more likely to develop dementia as they get older, a recent study suggests. Researchers examined data from 4 previously published studies that tracked a total of almost 30,000 people for at least a decade. In each of the smaller studies, there was a clear connection between anxiety in midlife and dementia later on. Researchers report in BMJ Open. If people are living with more moderate to severe anxiety, we would encourage them to seek help, said the senior study author Natalie Marchant of University College London in the United Kingdom. Therapies already exist that have been shown to be effective for treating anxiety. For example, talking therapies and mindfulness-based interventions, or perhaps the therapies that we offer at the Biomed RX Health Center, such as neurofeedback and cranial electrotherapy stimulation. And while we do not yet know whether they would also reduce the risk of developing dementia, alleviation of anxiety symptoms and stress would be of definite benefit.
Hey, Craig, how's it going, brother?
The study wasn't a controlled experiment.
Hi, Elisa. How you doing?
To prove whether or not,
Happy Sunday.
Or how anxiety might directly contribute to the development of dementia. Researchers were also unable to formally pool all the data from the 4 smaller studies, so they couldn't calculate the magnitude of increased dementia risk associated with anxiety. It's possible dementia might follow an anxiety diagnosis in middle age because moderate to severe anxiety appears to increase stress hormones, and chronic elevation of these hormones may consequently damage brain regions such as those associated with memory, Marchant said. Scientists don't know yet whether treating anxiety and thus reducing the chronic elevation of these hormones would reduce risk for dementia, Marchant added. Anxiety can also be a symptom of dementia, and that makes it difficult to firmly establish whether it's also an independent risk factor for dementia, said Dr. Constantino Iadecoca, director of the Failed Family Brain and Mind Research Institute at Weill Cornell Medicine in New York City. Anxiety disorders need to be treated in their own right, independently of potential associations, causal or not, with cognitive impairment later in life. Iadecoca, who wasn't involved in the study, said by email, "I would stress the importance of treating anxiety disorders as an essential step in maintaining mental health, not because of possible links to dementia, which remain unproven. The current study isn't designed to explain how anxiety and dementia might be connected," Iadecoca said. "We cannot say with confidence that anxiety is a cause or risk factor in early manifestations of dementia or coincidentally associated with it." This is sourced from the Reuters Health. If you suffer from anxiety, stress, or depression, contact the Biomed RX Health Center at 909-608-2880. That's about it for this segment, and we'll be back after these messages. Neurofeedback, or EEG biofeedback, is an electronic method of restoring the brain to its natural
stay tuned to the Facebook page for Biomed RX Radio, because we may be changing stations, or we may be changing mediums altogether. And so pay attention to what's about to happen, because things are about to blow up.
But then the following day, I had no headache. I discovered that it was helping me, and after the third session, I was feeling great. Ever since on, I've been not having any kind of migraines.
To learn more about the benefits of neurofeedback,
if things go the way we're planning,
online
we'll have a new location in January, and probably will be on a different station
for more information.
at the same time doing video.
AM 590, The Answer.
We're back with more high-tech holistic healthcare solutions on Biomed RX Radio. I am your host, Devin Lockett, and we're going over some news stories here from Reuters that have to do with health and technology, and they're very, very specific to the services that we provide at the Biomed RX Health Center, as well as technology that we discuss here on the show. Physical fitness linked to language skills in older adults. This is by Lisa Rappaport. Reuters Health. Older adults who exercise regularly may have an easier time finding words to express themselves.
I want to thank you guys for tuning in and listening to me, because I didn't have any guests, and I didn't have my normal co-host.
Mostly in the late 60s or early 70s.
Thanks for hearing me out. I really appreciate it. And I will accept any constructive criticism that you might want to put into the box here in the message box.
Completed just the language evaluations. For the word games, participants were asked to name famous people such as authors, actors, and politicians based on 20 questions. They were also given definitions of 20 words rarely used in daily conversations, as well as 20 very common words, and asked whether they knew the word related to the definition. Overall, compared to the younger participants, the older adults had more tip-of-the-tongue moments when they thought they knew a word but were unable to produce it. But older participants with higher fitness levels based on cycling tests had fewer tip-of-the-tongue experiences than their similarly aged peers who had more difficulty riding exercise bikes. Language is a crucial aspect of cognition necessary for maintaining independence, communication, and social interaction in older age, said lead study author Dr. Katrien Sieghart of the University of Birmingham in the United Kingdom. Cognitive function and language skills often decline with age, even among healthy older adults. Researchers note in scientific reports, while exercise and aerobic fitness has been linked to better cognitive abilities, such as improved processing speed and memory in older adults, less is known about the connection between physical activity and language abilities. While the exact reason for a connection between fitness and language isn't clear, and the amount of exercise needed for benefit is also unknown, previous research has linked higher levels of physical activity and increased aerobic fitness to improve blood flow and brain health, Siegert said by email. Still, difficulty finding words or tip of the tongue, quote unquote, challenges are common among elderly people, and it makes sense to explore the potential for exercise to help, said Dr. Philip Gorelick, a researcher at Michigan State University in East Lansing, who wasn't involved in the study. The results are not surprising, given that other cognitive domains are positively influenced by aerobic exercise, Gorelick said by email. This study adds consistency to the study data that various cognitive domains are positively influenced by aerobic exercise. Health officials in the US and the UK advise people to get 150 minutes of moderate aerobic exercise a week. We don't know if this would be enough to improve language abilities, but this advice would be a good place to start, Seeger said. Of course, many daily activities are a great way of getting exercise, such as climbing the stairs rather than taking the elevator, and some health and fitness centers offer activities such as chair-based exercises for people with physical limitations. It is very important to maintain your physical health. The connection between the body and the mind is very, very strong. Especially the older you get, you have to maintain your circulation. You have to maintain your strength as well. I mean, it's not just aerobic exercise that is beneficial for maintaining cognitive abilities. It's also weightlifting and aerobic exercises as well. And students and entrepreneurs and executives and many other driven professionals, people who have very demanding lifestyles, they benefit from peak performance training at the Biomed RX Health Center. Our unique protocol, which combines neural feedback or EEG biofeedback with cranial electrotherapy stimulation and brain entrainment, promotes better focus and concentration, greater mental stamina, better sleep, and an overall higher quality of life. Contact the Biomed RX Health Center today at 909-608-2880. That's 909-608-2880. Or you can visit us online at www.biomedrxhealthcenter.com. That's www.biomedrxhealthcenter.com. If you happen to be in the Upland, California area or here in the Inland Empire, you can visit us at the southeast corner of Foothill Boulevard and Mountain Avenue in the Vanguard Center. We're located at 916 North Mountain Avenue, Suite D1, Upland, California, 91786. Here's another article that I found very interesting, and I think you guys will find pretty interesting too. Ecstasy therapy may help service veterans suffering from PTSD.
Ecstasy.
That's right.
Can you believe that?
Cullen.
That's right.
Reuters.
That type of
Combining
ecstasy.
intensive psychotherapy with a pure
The
form of
recreational drug.
ecstasy is safe and could aid
Hey,
recovery in
Adrian.
people with
Hey, Noemi.
post-traumatic
How you
stress
doing?
disorder, PTSD, according to the findings of the study in military veterans. Scientists
I can see that
conducted
ecstasy
research.
working with
A small
PTSD.
study involving just 26 people said its results suggest that with close medical and psychological supervision, giving MDMA to PTSD patients could enhance the benefits of psychotherapy. Key elements that contribute to the safety and efficacy of MDMA-assisted psychotherapy include careful medical and psychological screening, preparing participants for the MDMA experiment and treatment, close support by trained psychotherapists, said Alison Fiducia, a doctor working with the nonprofit U.S. Multidisciplinary Association for Psychedelic Studies, which funded the research. The study is one of several mid-stage trials looking into the potential for MDMA, or 3,4-methyl-dioxymethamphetamine, the main active ingredient of ecstasy, to be used alongside psychotherapies in people suffering combat trauma and PTSD. The U.S. drug regulator said that last year designated MDMA-assisted psychotherapy for PTSD a, quote, breakthrough therapy, end quote, meaning it can be fast-tracked for review and potential approval. This latest trial, conducted in South Carolina and published on Tuesday in the
Well,
Lancet
truth be told,
Psychiatry Journal,
MDMA did
was
start
not
out
designed
as
to test
a
the effectiveness
drug
of
used
the
for
treatment, but to
marriage
assess-
and
but
couples
to assess
therapy.
safety. Trial participants, service personnel, firefighters, and one police officer were randomly assigned to receive either 30 milligrams, 75 milligrams, or 125 milligram doses of MDMA plus psychotherapy, and their symptoms and side effects were monitored. The treatment had some adverse effects, including anxiety, insomnia, and some transient increase in suicidal thoughts, but was found to be safe overall and showed promise in alleviating PTSD symptoms, the scientists said. They said a larger efficacy trial is now needed to assess the MDMA therapy's full potential. Michael Bloomfield, a psychiatry expert at University College in London, who had not been directly involved in this trial, said the findings were fascinating and worth pursuing. Larger research studies are needed, which include a placebo group and can tease out which specific parts of psychotherapy the MDMA may be helping with, he said. He cautioned that this research was conducted in a highly supervised setting using medical grade, quote unquote, MDMA. So
Medical
PTSD
grade
sufferers
MDMA.
should not try this on themselves because of the
Don't
risks
ask me.
associated with
I don't
street
know where you
ecstasy.
can find it.
Yes, there are a lot of risks associated with taking any drugs from
If I did,
off
I
the
would
streets.
be probably telling you
And
right
a lot
now.
of the ecstasy has been cut with a lot of other things for the ravers. I wouldn't recommend trying this at home. But this is interesting and promising news. If you are suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder or PTSD, the Biomed RX Health Center can help. Our unique protocol, which combines neurofeedback and cranial electrotherapy stimulation, can help relieve the effects of PTSD safely, quickly, and permanently. Contact the Biomed RX Health Center today at 909-608-2880 or visit us online at www.biomedrxhealthcenter.com. Losing a spouse late in life is linked to cognitive decline. Older adults who lose a spouse may be more vulnerable to cognitive decline in subsequent years and require extra support and monitoring, researchers say. In the study of nearly 7,000 middle-aged and older men and women, cognitive function declined over time for everyone, but it degraded slightly more and slightly faster for those who have been widowed, regardless of whether they remarried. At the same time, having a high level of education or at least one living sibling appeared to protect against the decline associated with widowhood, the study team reports in the American Journal of Geriatric
That makes
Psychiatry.
sense.
We've all come to know the importance of cognitive functioning.
Because at a
among
certain
older
age,
adults.
emotional impact
This is
does
something that
affect
is a
your
very
physical health
big
when you reach a
issue.
certain age.
If you are experiencing
When
cognitive
men reach a
decline
certain
with
age,
aging,
especially.
give us a call at the Biomed RX Health Center at 909-608-2880 or come and visit us at 916 North Mountain Avenue, Suite D1. Upland, California, 91786. You can view video testimonials from our clients by visiting us online at www.biomedrxhealthcenter.com. Well, that's it for today.
Thank you guys for
we'll be
listening
back
to the
next
show.
Sunday with more high-tech
Sorry to make you have to sit through it all like that. But I appreciate you joining me this Sunday and helping me be a part of your weekend. Thanks a lot.
That pre-recorded program was sponsored by
Biomed
Biomed
RX
RX Incorporated.
Message and data rates may apply.
Guys, this may be the last time